It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's the Big Detecting Show. Hello, darling, how are you all?
I'm fine, dear. Thanks, Dave, for coming on. He's not 100%, as you can hear.
I'm about 74%.
Yes. Big hats off to Dave for coming on tonight, because he's still not well. He's in a virtual ward at home, connected with iPads and catheters and you name it. He's got everything wired up in. So well done, Dave, for coming on tonight. And
thank you.
You're getting
thank you to everybody who sent kind words last week, and to Shane especially for stepping in at short notice. Sadly, I was rushed into hospital, blue lighted by ambulance last Wednesday. They thought I had sepsis, but it's I don't know what it was. It called, Adrian? Pneumonia. That's the fella. So
I
I'm
thought
just
it
getting
was.
over that.
Yeah, so you're still not right, but you've come on the show like we do, don't we?
But
I
have had the opportunity to sit and take in the majesty and magnificence of this beautiful book.
yes,
I've had the opportunity. I've actually sat there and looked because it's. I'm going to put
Don't let Ange see it. It was advertised before the show. Greenlightpublishing.com. Yeah, everyone's buying it. It's a good book. I said it, and
it's got sexy pictures in and information.
it's got fantastic. It took years to put together, but it's also got the prices as well. So yeah, which is nice if you wanted to sell things, but it's good at identifying. What was I going to say? It looks like I've got jaundice tonight or severely high blood pressure. That's because I decided to fuse the whole of my house by trying to wire up an LED board with the wrong driver, for those who know. So I got electric shock and blew everything. So I've got poor lighting tonight. So I haven't been abroad, sadly.
You're, aren't you sort of coloured by a fire as well?
Yes. I have a fire. That's why I'm hot, actually.
That'll be why. Proper fire.
Yeah. We're not in the studio.
Yeah, I tell you what, this virtual ward, never heard of it before. And they come and said to me, do you want to go home on a virtual ward? I went, not really. I don't know what one is. And I feel like crap.
Like VR headset.
Yeah. The bloke opposite, he was in such a bad way. All night he was shouting all night, 3.5 hours constant. He went to sleep. Well, just as he went to sleep, he won't be up to have more IV antibiotics. And I thought to myself, I can't take that again. So basically, they've got this, like an iPad, which I do all my own obs, O2, pulse, blood pressure, and it also does an ECG when you hold it as well. And then as soon as I've done it within half an hour, a nurse rings me up to see how I am 3 times a day, and we have a chat.
It's good. When the NHS works, it's brilliant.
It is, mate. Absolutely brilliant. So, yes, again, thank you all for your kind words. I won't be out detecting for a while, either see the end of December, because they said it's 6 to 8 weeks recovery time. I am bored as anything, so...
well, maybe you could play Digger's Dips.
I could, but then I won't have any money because I've got no money.
Yeah.
For being on the sick.
Maybe we'll get Digger's Dips on. Just dropped a pen on the floor. Yes. Well, we're glad you're here, mate. So,
well, I watched last week's show from my hospital bed. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Si was a fantastic guest again. Thanks to Si coming on. And again, Shane, he's stepping completely out of his comfort zone to do that last week, and the boy did good.
He did really well, and it was lovely having Shane on. And Si Fines, YouTuber, metal detectorist, mudlarker, you name it. This Saturday, those who want to go, Eastbourne, if you want to go down there and detect with some old C-scopes, he's got 20 machines. I'll be there. It's from 11 o'clock in the morning, but I've forgotten his email address. But I think
you taking him with you yourself, Vontage.
Am I taking what?
That's Vontage. It's a posh way of saying vintage Vontage. Sounds good.
I have one machine. I'm going to take one machine. I need to get a PP9 battery actually. An old machine. I'm going to take it to Soro because there's a lot of C-scopes there. But those who are interested, I think if you go message him on Facebook, but our last show had his email address. I think it's scifinds@outlook.com or something like that.
It is. That's completely correct.
Is it? Oh, yeah. SIfinds@outlook.com. If you've got nothing to do on Saturday, the weather looks good. It's down in Eastbourne.
Some
near
nice
Pevensey
positive
Bay.
Ions in your blood from the
nice and there'll be loads
of
people. And there's lovely shops, and it looks very, very going to be fun. So I'm going to be heading down there for a little time to detect.
Well, I hope you're going to do some little videos for us, Adrian.
I will do some videos, actually. because there'll be lots of people hopefully there, and you never know, C-Scope might turn up because he's got a lot of their machines, so fingers crossed.
Have a little chat with a couple of people, see how they're getting on, just show us what's happening.
Yes, I think they've got a new marketing person at C-Scope, so hopefully they're watching, or they'll hear about us. We've had some detector news this week. The Score from Noctua was launched yesterday, £450, I think, without headphones from Dilek, so that'll be interesting. And then suddenly, out of the blue, Minelab have launched Xterra Voyager, which is an LCD.
I've not heard of that.
No, I don't know if it's available yet, but it's
Voyager.
It's really, Minelab Voyager, Xterra Voyager, very beginner focused, sort of targeting the Garrett Ace 250 and the Simplex sort of market, but it'll be interesting.
Did you say LED?
LCD screen. They're all LCD.
Oh, like the
it looks
Apex.
very. Yes, a few people have commented how it sounds like an Apex, and the screen looks a bit like an Apex. Interesting.
It sounds like an Apex, and it looks like an Apex.
It's not an Atrex.
Is it a pig?
It could be. So yeah, we got that this week. So it'd be interesting. Hopefully, I might be able to get hold of one and just see what it's like. But I think it's early days. But yeah, they're proper gunning it, aren't they? The detector market. They're proper like.
Stephen Lawson, it's going to be an Amazon only, apparently.
Yes, a bit
it's
like
available in stated now.
A bit like the Nocta. Oh, it's not First Swing. I think that's Amazon only. The Nocta First Swing, which most people.
That's the USA. Sorry, in the States now.
Yeah. So I haven't read whether it's rechargeable batteries or.
And don't forget, for those of us who had the initial beta version of the Nocta, name's gone, Adrian. Pinpointer. Acupoint. They had battery issues coming in, so they should be starting shipping the updated version next week, and that would include anyone who's won anything on competitions also.
Yes, so apologies if you haven't received it yet from winning. Talking of competitions, we've got a big competition tonight for composite cleaning pencil. How could I forget?
We have, and apologies to anybody who's hadn't answered, but we've talked about it and promoted it enough on Facebook, and Graham's been doing a great job advertising it as well.
Sorry, log's fallen off the fire. Sorry.
Adrian's had a log drop. Adrian, have you just dropped the log?
Yes, I had a bit of wood. That competition is a no-brainer because it's free to enter. You don't have to answer a question. All you got to do is put your name and your email address and phone number, and that's it. But it's closed now, and we've had hundreds of entries. So thank you those who entered, and more importantly, thank you Graham Dempsey for supplying the great prizes, which you'll see very soon when the winner wins. We also have got our Christmas competition coming up, which will start as of tomorrow, I think.
Back again.
Sorry?
Back again. The internet.
Oh, I thought you were reading something. We have our Christmas competition, the big detecting show competition, which will be drawn on December because we don't know yet. And we've got loads of prizes. We've got some very expensive books, one which Dave showed earlier, all brand new.
Not brand new books. As well as that, I've got several copies of books written by people regarding not like as big and as bold as as that, but thoroughly important to the hobby. I have a new product to test, and we also have one for the giveaway.
I'm going to put that on and see if that makes me stop it looking red. That's a bit better. Oh, the meat grafter.
New meat grafter.
It's got to be, it's the world's lightest metal detecting digging tool, manufactured, designed in Britain.
And this is a standard one that doesn't extend and what have you, this one. And it's got a nice cutty edge on it as well.
Yeah, I got some texts and messages from Paul at McGrafter, and he texts me all and phones me always at the wrong time. So if you're watching, Paul, sorry, I will get back to you. But I've had a lot on my plate the last few weeks, so unlike David, I've had a lot to deal with. So sorry about that.
And we have one. He's given us one as well. Donated one towards the Christmas raffle too.
Fantastic. And
not a raffle. The Christmas prize draw. It's not a raffle. You don't pay.
Got one of these as well.
Oof.
Profind, MindLab Profind 40, brand spanking new. We've
had several people saying they'd like to donate bits as well, like Brian from Monarch Designs and such like, and of course Graham Dempsey.
Yeah, so,
without further ado, because we're keeping him.
Oh,
I don't want to bomb out and have you sat there on your own again. Shall we bring this nice chap into the house? James Barnes, good evening.
Hi, James.
Hello. How is everyone doing?
Oh, good.
Do you know what? I thought you were in the gym, man.
No, I thought it was a really good background on a green screen, but it's real, isn't it?
It is real. Yeah, I'm in the office.
Yeah. I do apologise. My lighting blue tonight, so I look like a bit red. Those who are watching, I've got my phone at the moment trying to give a bit of light, but the driver on the LED board blew and blew out the house fuses. So
James,
nice meet.
That
yeah,
I've got a clue.
Nice meeting you again, James. I think last time we met, Dave, was it a detectable?
We were probably in the magic teapot at silly o'clock, and I think it was actually only me and James there at one point.
Yeah, I think it was the teapot. Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, James, for coming on. Obviously, you're not just a metal detectorist. We're going to get onto the whole range of what you do during the show. But people who do know you're in the community, you are friends, and you're on Facebook, they'll see lots of images that you share and such like. And I'm excited to speak to you and find out a little bit more, because generally we are sat in a magic teapot, rocking somewhat.
Not always. Yeah. Yeah, so
give us a bit of background about yourself, please.
Yeah, so I'm an industrial metrologist, so nothing to do with weather. So that's the science of measurement. So most of the time, because geophysics, doesn't necessarily pay the bills too much, and archaeology within geophysics is very, very low paid, as is most archaeology jobs. So in majority of time, I'm in factories measuring cars, aeroplanes, ships, and things of that nature, normally using lasers. So industrial dimensional measurement up to the size of a ship or something the size of a little tabletop.
Wow.
But sometimes, maybe an artifact or two for the British Museum or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, which is nice, and not too often, but it's nice when it happens.
Wow. So is that like I've seen the archaeologists scan things with like a sort of barcode scanner, and then it 3D produced. Oh. Wow.
Yeah. This is an LED and a blue light laser scanner. So this will basically in 3 dimensions recreate any given object.
So like I saw there was not druid, I forgot what they're called up in Scotland. The old pre-Christian thingies. They went into a cave type tomb type thing, and they scanned it. Or would it be with something like that then?
It can be. Sometimes there's large volume scanners, so you can have a scanner that basically has an internal prism, and it's flicking around, and it's basically scattering laser light in every direction.
And that can obviously find things that you wouldn't see with the eye.
Yeah, what these are brilliant at doing is basically stripping out this particular one will capture color as well as the topography of the surface. If you're able to strip out the color, things suddenly come to light because your visual eye is very poor at negotiating color. So color will often mask a lot of surface detail that you just can't see because the human eye is not very good at distinguishing between.
So you could actually pick that up now, turn to your right, put it on the Christmas tree, and delete it because it's still
Christmas
November.
tree I didn't know was even here.
It's still
when I got here
November.
tonight, it was there.
That's
still not decorated, so it's just arrived probably for the Christmas party later this.
The Picts. That's the word I was looking for. PICT.
Oh, Picts. Yeah, sure.
So that hand scanner, how long would it take to scan like a Roman helmet?
Probably it's remarkably quick. So it's depending on the texture. If it's shiny, shiny things it doesn't like necessarily. So sometimes you have to dull down. You have to create various settings to deal with shiny. But a Roman helmet probably about 2 or 3 minutes.
Wow.
Really?
And then how long would it take for the computer program to recreate that onto the image?
Literally, as you're doing it, it's creating it.
Good
you
Lord.
see it in real time. And
And
so you know what parts you've missed. So you can go and go, oh, I missed that bit.
So does that give you the actual dimensions? Is it to scale?
Yeah, it's absolute. So this particular one is roughly about a 50 micron scanner. So down to the 50 microns, it's recreating dimensionally correct.
Adrian, imagine the fun we could have with that.
You can have great fun with them. Yeah.
You'd be measuring all sorts of shafts, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So you could. So just going back to the British Museum, obviously, if they let's say, for example, some of their artifacts went missing or damaged in a fire, and they needed to look back. This is perfect for logging on a database.
Yeah,
these finds.
Which they've been systematically doing for years. So they've been systematically laser scanning their whole catalogue of items, so that they have a 3-dimension. They have a repository of every object. They obviously haven't quite got there. They obviously haven't quite got there yet, as we know.
So have they got their own one, or they outsource it?
They actually do have their own one. But when it comes to, let's say, slightly more challenging things, I mean, I did something actually I haven't been there since COVID, but I did something literally the week before COVID, which was the Apollo, the statue of Apollo, which is like 3 meters high, and really elaborate and very, very difficult to recreate.
Graham Dempsey has just messaged me to say that Jason Jones had his Viking die scanned by the same machine.
Yeah.
And that was brilliant, that image. So for the layperson like myself, how much would that be to purchase?
Well, this particular one is, we actually sell these, but this particular one is about 10 grand. Yeah. But they do go down.
Will you buy me one?
They do go down to as low as about 3.
Wow.
You can get hand scanners now that are really, really cheap, in the sort of hundreds of pounds, but they're just not going to be dimensionally correct.
Yeah.
They're going to be reasonable approximations, and some of them do a great job.
So
like
what
Rev Point and people like that.
What sort of file format can that save that in?
Pretty much anything. So OBJ is the one that you may see, 3-dimensional models. Most Windows packages now, Windows 10, you can just open OBJs.
CAD format it can save.
Yeah, any CAD format. Yeah.
So you could, in theory, then convert that into a G code for a 3D printer.
Yeah. Often it's used for machining purposes. So you end up with you can create a 3-dimensional. You could use a 3D printer or a machine tool.
Ryan.
Etc. So if you have like a little router, lots of people, hobbyists buy into 3-axis routers, and that in fact was my old one of my first jobs, which was I'm a 5-axis programmer for machine tools for the big aerospace. That's one of my very first jobs I did as an aerospace programmer.
I'm an aerospace fitter.
Yeah.
Airbus.
Airbus.
Right.
Airbus.
Oh, you Bristol one, man.
I do go to Bristol. I do go. Well, I actually did most of my machining in California.
Right. But yeah, you've been about then, haven't you?
Yeah, I lived in the States for some time. Yeah.
I was brought in
Worked for
Chester.
Boeing.
I was at.
Yeah. So we're talking about this metal detecting. When did you first sort of get involved in that?
I started pretty young, so I started. I think I was. I can't say to the year, but it's in the early '80s. I think I first started, and I had some pretty wild machines back then. As you know. So I had a Technetics, the coin. I think it was referred to as the coin computer at that time.
Computer.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what they called
it. I like that name. Coin computer.
The coin computer. That's what it was actually. Yeah. That's what it was marketed as. I actually don't know. I can't remember how I actually ended up with it, but I did. But my brother also had a Narado, so we ended up using that a fair bit. But I started pretty young, but back then it was a totally different. You just went wherever you wanted, of course. It wasn't really a sort of permissions-based world back then.
And a lot
especially when you're that young, you wouldn't care anyway. I certainly didn't.
So have you done it all your life, or have you had a gap?
Yeah, I had a pretty big gap. As motorbikes and sort of women came on the scene, that sort of took my interest. as not necessarily in that order, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's a bit more exciting. Do you want to come out on my bike, or do you want to come detect it? Yeah.
Ooh, which one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Adrian still swears that chat up line.
Well, it's funny you should say it because of all the. No, I don't use chat up lines like that 'cause I'm happily married. But as I talk to people about the hobby at work, or I could be at a bus stop. Well, I don't get the bus, but anywhere like that, it always comes out. You always, because it's your passion, it's your hobby. And people sort of say, "Oh, have you ever found anything?" Usual one, gold or something. Yeah. And I show them the Instagram, and they're like, "Oh, wow! Oh, what, you found that in the field?" And
so you actually go around to bus stops pimping out your Instagram account
and bus stations, yeah. But it's quite, ladies in their 40s and 50s. This is getting worse, Adrian. It is at 11 o'clock at night in a lay-by. No, the people who we've got a bit of a disposable income now. We're getting a bit older. There isn't much of it at this current climate, but whereas like James was saying about motorbikes, most blokes in their 50s, get a sort of Lotus Elise or a Harley or whatever. Those who are looking at taking up fishing again or metal detecting, it's interesting. And I have spoken to quite a few ladies who are interested. So in detecting, that is.
Yeah.
So you still detect, James. What's your go-to machine at the moment?
I'm definitely a Deus person these days. I mean, I used to be Mine Lab many years ago. The last Mine Lab I had, and I still use it on occasion, is the CTX, but it's just a
beast.
It's a beast. It's killer. Yeah. Even with the swing, it's just and it's a great machine. Technology. It was clever as hell in its day, but it's a bit slow. Its recovery compared to these.
James is still finding things with his CTX, isn't he, Adrian?
Yeah. He, although we've just found a Roman site, and he's switched to the Deus one with an HF coil and absolutely smashing it because, like exactly what James said, the recovery speed and the HF coil in those sort of noisy sites, and he's absolutely smashed it. Sorry, Dave gets lost when I start talking technical, but it is a great machine. But yeah, there's, I'm fortunate. I've got quite a few machines, and if I'm going somewhere I know the land, I pick the right one for that land. You know.
Yeah.
So, but my mate James, I think he's selling it.
I use a lot. I use the Deus One a lot as well. I got the two. I use the two. I mean, two is what I'm because you've got to eke out the technology and try to understand it a bit better. I mean, and I don't think multi-frequency is the answer to every site by any stretch. It's a sort of it's a bit of a general purpose machine, if you know what I mean. But the Deus One is a killer. It's a killer machine. It's in terms of audio, it probably has the best sort of audio response that's out there in my mind, anyway.
That's and if anybody needs a shed, Richard Lincoln's saying if you've got a lot of machines, you might need a shed. Go and see Richard Lincoln. To whom, Richard, when I was pulling my former van apart the other week, I found what I was trying to find for you at the Rodney Cook.
Hopefully it wasn't the stick he was using to nudge the portable toilet door shut when I went. That's another matter. But yes, and originally XP, their background is sound. So they are specialists in sound, and I think that's where they absolutely ace it.
Yeah.
I think the only thing with the Deus One is it's not waterproof. And when I mean waterproof,
no, it's not.
The Deus 2, it's proper. It's like an action man. You can throw it around and do what you want with it, can't you? It's
the only really the coil that would be the issue there, wouldn't it? Because the rest of it you can put in your pocket. Am I right in saying?
Yeah. The headphones weren't fully waterproof either. So if it was peeing it down, they weren't the best. And I do like
coil in your head.
I'm very much at the full over it, full ears.
I think I'm
into these wraparound type.
No, I think this summer when it was like 35 degrees, the Deus was the machine to have with just the wraparound headphones. But now the over ear, it's nice having an option. But I've got the bone conducted ones. Have you got those with your Deus? The bone conducted ones?
Yeah.
I keep meaning to give them. I've used them a few times, and I sadly have only actually used them in the water when I had a bath, which is very rare. I have a bath, and I took it in the bath just to see how it would work. And I haven't got a big bath, and a hell of a noise. And
do you know, Brian Goodseed Thompson's just come on, and he's missed the bit where we were saying, Brian. Yes. Show him your toy again, James.
Oh, okay.
So that Brian scans something perfectly, and then you can put it straight into
or you controls back here.
Is it CAD? Did you say?
Yeah, it can be. You can use it in CAD. You can use it in.
And then basically convert it to a 3D file and print it straight away.
Yeah.
There you go.
Out of interest, James, I'm just thinking. Sorry, going back to that.
Yeah.
The Roman Centurion's helmet as a file, which the British Museum would use, roughly how big in file size is that?
Yeah, so they can be absolutely colossal, some of the files. That particular one, it was actually, I was scanning it for an American artist who shut the gallery down, who wanted to recreate it for one of his art installations. So he paid to have an entire section of the British Museum shut down. And he wanted it. He wanted the precision and let's say the density of points as high as the technology would allow. So it took me nigh on, I think it was 3 days of scanning, non-stop for three full days and nights. The best part about that was we got to go into the evening. So we managed to stay in the British Museum at night, when all the lights go down.
Was Ben Stiller there?
Yeah. So, but it's the gallery in question was actually by the Egyptian gallery, which was even better. So it was all the dimming of the dim lights in the you had the Rosetta Stone there, and then all the figurines, huge, colossal statues, amazing. Yeah.
Wow, that'd be amazing.
I took some pictures. I got some night pictures of the event. Yeah, pretty amazing.
So, just going back to the Centurion's helmet, roughly how big a file size was that?
Yeah, so a standard sort of file, might be about 150 meg, something like that.
Okay. So it would take up a lot of storage space for all the artifacts. I'm just thinking in 5 years' time, wouldn't it be lovely if you went to your Flow, they scanned it, emailed you a file, and you were able to have that, and then if it did get into the British Museum, you could 3D print a copy of it. At the moment, you've got to manually, physically draw it. I
hear what you're saying. Yeah, it would be great if they had the sort of funding to do that kind of stuff. But most archaeology style outfits, I mean, I've been to a number of them with this. You know, they wanted to see it demonstrated. I think they just wanted me to capture some of their star finds. But at the moment, you know, the numbers, they just like, whoosh. That's like
NCMD.
That's a year of digging for us.
NCMD could buy them for the British Museum, couldn't they, Dave?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. If you're watching, Alan, you need to start buying them for the British Museum. But it would be good, and I see it sort of going that way. You know, probably 10 years' time.
It would be a good pilot project for them.
Yeah. So are you the only company in the UK who supply those, or other companies?
No, there's various companies out there. Yeah,
where are you based, James?
We're based in Worcestershire, in the Midlands.
Mm-hmm. Not particularly far from me. That's the
no. I mean, I'm based out of Malvern, but our office is in Worcester. Yeah.
That's so that we've spoken about that hand scanner there. You do drone as well.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Oh.
Yeah. So this is like a survey drone. So you've probably seen this drone, this style drone before. You know, it's what they call a phantom, but the important part is this magic thing on the top, which is what they call RTK. So it's a GNSS module. And what that does, that provides really, really accurate GPS coordinates. So when it's taking images, it's geo-tagging each image to within sort of roughly about 2 centimeters. So when you're flying it over a site, you know, an archaeological site, the image is positioned perfectly. So when you program it and off it goes, and it's taking images as it goes, and then it stitches all the images together and makes a topographical map. And it's a high resolution map. So, hundreds of times better than Google. So you get you get Matchbox style definition. And
wow.
So if you have a matchbox on in the middle of a field, you can see it on the image it creates. It's that sort of precise. But it's brilliant for seeing potential archaeology, and things that you just never see. When you're on the ground level, you never see it, right? You're in the heart of all this stuff, and you don't even realize it half the time. The moment the drone goes up and you fly it around,
which was why I was obviously felt that was so important for myself and Shane. Sadly, the twice I used it, I lost them straight away, so I haven't known yet.
Yeah, Dave keeps losing drones. So, James, I understand you got that from Argos for $39.95, and it's on Black deals tomorrow. No, I've got to ask this question: do you fly it over your own permissions?
Yeah, sure.
And has it helped your finds rate?
It certainly got me to go into different locations that I probably thought, oh, that's not worth going there, and then thought, oh, okay, maybe there's something there. Oh, there is something in that little area there that I just never realized, because I was just walking down that slight shallow embankment and then back up, and then when you look at the bigger picture, it was something much bigger. Yeah. And does it? Yeah, it certainly does. Yeah, it really focuses. You get detail that you just you never would see without it. You know,
okay.
Old footpaths that are not necessarily on maps. Even the oldest maps aren't necessarily, but things like holloways, which were the old paths, holloways, which are the best finds you'll find in holloways, because it was the transitioning how people how they moved around, and those locations are always the best places to find artifacts, and especially coins.
Yeah. Wow.
So now I can guarantee what's going on in Adrian's mind is, I think I need a drone.
Yeah.
Well,
drones are inexpensive nowadays. I mean, this is obviously a different story, but this is more. We use this in industrial applications as well.
That one is very expensive, though, I feel.
Yeah. Well, a standard version of that is 1,500 quid, but for this particular version, because of the built-in high precision GPS, it ramps right up. Yeah, but their prices have come down. But yeah, the sort of industrial ones, they range roughly about 5K to 20K.
Wow, Dave, you imagine you losing that?
You've got a bit. But don't get me wrong. Once you get to that sort of stage of investing in that, you've also invested in a license. So you have to be a licensed pilot to use it commercially. So,
which of course your license we've just found out then.
Yeah, I'm a commercial pilot for drone activity. Yeah.
Sorry, we've ignored the chat tonight, and I do apologise because Richard Lincoln's got a CB for you, Dave. I presume that's this Citizens Band Radio.
Oh, I thought it was something else.
I just Stephen Brame. Hi, Stephen. How long does it stay in the air, your drone?
This particular one is about 35 minutes.
Wow, that's quite a while,
decent size. And the nice part is let's say we're doing a survey of I don't know, 50 acres or something. It will automatically come back, land itself back next to you, and ask for the next battery. And then you load the next one in, and it goes back to the place where it left off and carries on.
I've found my flight time to be more 35 seconds. I haven't found one, and I found the other one that come out of the tree the last time I went to Cumbria.
Oh dear. Yeah, there's nothing worse than crashing.
Darren Davidson, he's asking, does it do LiDAR?
It's not a LiDAR. This is for photogrammetry. So photogrammetry being that of stitching images together. LiDAR is a totally different animal. And that's like laser range dispersion. And that is much, much more expensive. A LiDAR camera by itself, even the cheapest ones are roughly about sort of 15 grand. A cheap one. The decent ones are up in the sort of 40, 50K mark.
And you need a very, very high set of step ladders to take your pictures.
Well, yeah. I mean, in the moment you put it on a drone, you've got that amount of investment in the sky. That's pretty nerve-wracking.
God, Dave.
I've never been tempted myself. I'd rather just go on the LiDAR Finder and ArcGIS and look at theirs.
Yeah,
there's enough resource in the UK. With DEFRA, they've done all the environmental sort of scans. They're as good as, they're not brilliant, but they're pretty good. And just use those. That's my view anyway.
Yeah. So now I can see you've got some gym equipment directly behind you as well.
Yeah.
Treadmill and such like.
This is the magnetometer for the Geo Phys. Yeah. So this is the Geo Phys equipment. So this is a German. This is what's called a census MXPDA. So it's got this is the GPS that's attached to it. Various series of sensors. So you have series of, this particular one is set up for a five sensors, 1 meter wide. I can go up to 2 meters, and it's a brilliant piece of kit.
So how long have you actually been involved in Geo Phys itself?
Not a huge amount of time. I mean, I probably started about 7 or 8 years ago. Roughly
so I'm thinking, most of us are used to the Geo Phys from Time Team, obviously. And would I be right in saying that the technology has moved on massively in the 7 years, never mind the 20 years?
I think it definitely has improved, but some of those very early systems that they used are actually really sought after because they were really good. They were actually made by a British company called Geo that are no longer in existence, and they did some really, really good quality magnetometers, and unfortunately they've gone out of business. I mean, they retired basically. They didn't actually go out of business. And their equipment's still used heavily. Some of those old systems, even they were on the time team, their stuff. They're brilliant. They're brilliant machines. The difference where it is now is the resolution is better, but also now the GPS. So with a system like this, you don't have to lay out the grids anymore. So you used to have to do tapes up and down the field and grid it out and say, because you'd be scanning, but you don't know necessarily where it is. So you have to have marker positions that you've determined where that position is. And so any anomaly you could then trig over how far away it is. There's an anomaly here, and then you'd go back to that location, get another tape out and go across. Now with the GPS, it's telling you automatically where to go. And then you use the same bit of kit to then what they call stakeout. So it then takes you back to the anomaly location and says, you're over the top of it now. Boom. So you can
finding the corner of a wall system or trench.
Yeah. So
far simpler than it has been.
Yeah, you could map out the anomaly itself, or you can say, well, we know that we want the trench to fall within the boundaries of that anomaly. We don't want to be half in the anomaly, half out of the anomaly. That's what used to happen a lot because one little tape measure inaccuracy, and you didn't capture the feature you were looking for. You got half of it or something. This way, you've got you're putting stuff down, and lo and behold, you dig the trench, and there is the anomaly. You can see it immediately once you scrape the plough soil.
You've sent me an image as well. I take it this is something that's been done with that machine.
Yeah. These are sort of typical examples of what we find, different locations. So these are 3 different sites.
So let's talk.
That's clear, isn't it?
Let's talk that one first.
It's as simple as these are the sort of most typical things, and the nice bit is it sort of illustrates what are anomalies and what are just stuff that we're not interested in. The black and white blobs are
yin and yang.
Yeah, yin and yangs are basically large iron.
Wow.
So basically that could be a bit of plow, a bit of a horseshoe, something like that.
So the white would indicate something metallic.
It's not necessarily metallic. What it is what they call a dipole. So it's getting a huge response, a massive response from the sensors. The way a magnetometer works is what they're called fluxgate gradiometers, and the top of the sensor has one sensor at the top and one at the bottom. And magnetometers are passive systems, so they're just sensing geomagnetism in the ground. But what you have to do is you have to rule out Earth's magnetic fields, which are massive.
Mm-hmm.
So the top one is sort of measuring the Earth's magnetic field, and the bottom one is then measuring the difference, and it subtracts one from the other.
Got you.
And then what is left over is the anomaly below, because every single thing in the ground has a small magnetic field. So things like, where they dug a pit, as an example, that actually modifies the ground composition. When you dig a pit and you refill it, it modifies the actual content of the ground. And so things like pits show up. That's what these black blobs are. Right. So that's where someone has dug a pit for whatever reason and has filled it with maybe possibly human
like
remains. A midden. Yeah, exactly. It could be a midden. It could be the human remains. It may have been a storage area. It may have been just general. They needed to get rid of something. And that's a sort of typical response. Those are obviously interesting because if you dig those things, you might find all sorts of evidence of why they were there.
Wow.
So this one, to me, I'd say would be pretty self-explanatory, but I'm no expert.
Yeah. So definitely, you're talking probably two different phases there. In this case, you're looking at potentially Neolithic and Bronze Age type time periods. So these are ring ditches. So they're basically so just be aware that all of these features on the surface are non-existent. Right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing there visually to see, nothing whatsoever. So these are a series of ring ditches, which are basically round mound barrows that have been completely ploughed out. But the historic sort of ditch that went around them, of course, has had alterations because they dug a ditch, and then that particular ditch over a time period filled in with material that's different than the surround, and that differential between those two soils is what magnetometry really picks up.
I find it phenomenal how perfectly circular they are. That it's not like a mad, crazy circle. It's perfect.
But I like people. I often hear people say that same thing, and I like to say, well, if you've got a bit of sheep's gut or intestine, and you put a stake in the ground, and you just
again, this is nothing to do with anything that is peculiar. It's archaeology.
Out of interest, James, those circles, how deep down were they from the top of the surface?
Yeah, so this is undug, by the way. Right now, this hasn't been dug, but it will be in the coming probably maybe 1 or 2 seasons. They're trying to get funding for it now. You're probably talking about a meter down for something like those. Yeah.
So there's a secondary feature which looks like
which is probably more important. Yeah. Well, that's basically it's part of a long barrow with some sort of causeway and entering it. If you actually zoom right in, which you probably can't do, there is actually things inside it as well. So you start to see little rings that are actually inside there. So there's some sort of burial within it, things of that nature. And you see just outside there's a little baby double ring ditch.
That one there?
Yeah. So
got an angry face, that one.
Yeah, and so you've got to think, well, what was the relationship between these features? Were they part of a continuation of the site and things like that, or did they occur at the same time? Yeah. So that's what the archaeology will tell you eventually. And of course there could be some really nice finds in that's got a watching brief on it, that site, so it's not detectable.
What's a watching brief, please?
It means the archaeology. It means that the site is now sort of under the protection of the county archaeologist.
Yeah. And then onto this one, which is crazy. Nazca lines on LSD, I think.
Yeah. So this site is this is what they call a palimpsest. So it means it has multi phases going on. So that's got Roman, it's got Iron Age, and it's also got Neolithic and probably Bronze Age, all in one area, all in the same area. So it's been carried. That site, for whatever reason, has been carried on time and time again through different time periods. So they're like you can see really clear roads.
Yeah.
You can see in various different other locations. There's a series of burials, a cemetery at the top right. So and that's probably a really early one. Yeah, in that area there, you see the little ring, only half of the ring, but there's a series of sort of black little dots.
Yeah.
Further to the right, yeah.
Yeah.
See all those little black dots? They're probably burials. Yeah.
Wow.
So they're probably some of them probably Iron Age, but this particular site has yielded a lot of gold status.
Is it something that's been detected? Yeah.
Yeah, they've had detectors on it. Yeah.
Detectors. Yeah. Detector. detector people.
About detectorists. A big club, a fairly significant club has been on this one, and it's a great site. Yeah. I mean, it's got its yield. And it has yielded Roman. I think there was some Saxon, and also
Did you actually do the geophys on this site?
Yeah, I did on all these sites. Yeah.
And I bet you when the imagery came out to you were quite moist.
Well, I only got, I think, about a third, maybe, I don't know, 20 yards into it. And I always have a quick look because these images don't show up on the data as you're taking it. You have to process it. Now, once upon a time, that would have been, I've got to go back to the office and that's going to take me 2-3 days. With the technology now, I can process it in the field as I'm doing it. And so I can sort of take
screaming skull there.
There's all sorts of, there's little roads, there's what they call banjo enclosures, which are ceremonial type. They're not actually exactly certain what they use them for, but
banjo playing.
Potentially. But
that's amazing.
It is remarkable. All the little buildings down the left side there. So this is a sort of little village over here.
Street, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's some significant boundary going on there as well, say through the site. Yeah, but
marvelous.
Loads of fibula brooches and all sorts of annular brooches.
James asks how big that particular area was.
That's a fairly significant size, that particular field. I think that field was about 17 acres, but I did it in one weekend. But I tell you what, I felt fit after that.
I bet, yeah. Are you like a horse with a plough, just dragging it along?
You're literally pushing it along. Yeah. You can get systems that, you can attach it to an ATV and drag it around, but you've got to have certain suspension and things like that. And the results are never quite as good as the hand-driven variety.
Do you have any problems with EMC or?
You can, but it's pretty.
Can we stop that?
It's pretty robust to stop that. Yeah.
EMI.
EMI.
Electromagnetic interference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, we have something at work called EMC, and I thought I was at work.
EMI.
Run EMC.
It's actually the bigger challenge most of the time is the GPS dropping out, which can happen, and which at certain points of the day, you have a different satellite coverage, and so as the satellites drop out, you get sometimes you get a bit of interference, and then the signal drops out, but it just tells you to carry on in a straight line when it does that.
Former metal detecting buddy of mine, must have been 25 years ago now, in Wales on a site that we were looking at for Cadw. He climbed up over a wall just after it had snowed. It started to melt, and saw there was a shape in the field. So he paid for himself to have geophys done, and it turned out to be what they think is a Roman temple on Anglesey, which was unheard of, I think. So, it's very, very valuable to the archaeological community. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I saw an image of a series of Roman temples in a straight line the other day, and they're basically, you went through one temple into the next, and then you offered to the gods in that one, and then went to the next one and the next one.
All these sites, James will sell the information for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Adrian, it's 9 o'clock. It's time, and you haven't got it ready, so I'm going to speak very slow. Oh, you have? For the prize draw, which we are doing on behalf of Graham Dempsey at the Composite Cleaning Pencil. We've had a lot of entries. Thank you, obviously, for Graham to asking us to do this tonight for him. He's had a bundle of entries. We've spoke about it on the show. He shared it on... what does that say? I'm a celebrity. Shut up with your I'm a celebrity claptrappery. Big detecting shows on.
We'll probably get more viewers after 9 because of I'm a Celebrity.
Do you know what? I've had to go to bed at 9 o'clock for the past couple of weeks. Big Brother crap straight into this crap. What's next? Some other crap.
Dave, did you want to get our website up and show what the prizes are? Because I can't remember what they are. I know there's the jerry can, which opens up full of an amazing prizes.
The jerry can, which isn't anything to do with Jerry Halliwell.
No, not yet. Anyway, and I will prepare the wheel of spinningness to pick our winners. We did have hundreds of entries, so thank you all those who entered. And like Dave said, thank you, Graham Dempsey from cleaningpencil.com. Have you got a cleaning pencil, James? For your
I do. Yeah.
Yes. I think everyone has at the moment. It's right. That's the first prize, but we can't show you pictures of it because they've gone.
The first prize. He's been sending us images of the customised jerry can, hasn't he, Adrian?
Yeah.
And there's more in it than you would imagine. It's absolutely rampacked of goodies.
It is. Right. Let's start by spinning the wheel. Oh. Can you see that, Dave? Yes?
Yes. I can't see any names.
No.
So is this for the third prize or first prize?
Third prize, dear.
Third prize. So the third prize tonight is the magnifying cleaning station plus the pencil and the extras. And the winner is
Andrew Thomas.
Andrew Thomas. Congratulations, Andrew.
I'll write that down because I always forget. And this is for
second prize, which is a complete coin cleaning kit with storage box. Mark Schilling. Yeah. That's a good old coiny name.
Yes, fantastic. Right.
I wonder what his friends coin him.
Well done, Mark.
And for the first prize, which is a customised jerry can carrier complete with goodies, the winner is
Dave Sadler. Oh, Eddie Irvine.
Eddie Irvine, all the way from Scotland. Well, congratulations.
Well done, Eddie.
Eddie Irvine, to Mark Schilling, and to someone Thomas. So well done
Andrew
to you all.
Timmis. Yes.
Andrew Timmis. And sugar. Sorry, James. That was me trying to remove the screen, but Adrian had already moved it, so you'd move.
Sorry.
Yes, thanks to Graham for asking us to do that for him tonight. Fantastic giveaway. What can we say? I'm excited to see what the feedback he gets from the jerry can.
Well, I think if you haven't got a cleaning pencil, and it isn't just the pencil he does, it's all the other waxes and the solutions, which I found a bullhead on Saturday, Dave, and I whacked it in one of his solutions, and no jiggery pokery or tin foil. It just come out lovely, naturally clean. So it's very nice stuff, and you mustn't drink it. Even though a year or two ago I said it was so safe you could drink it, but don't drink it.
That was the old stuff. That was the Gladius.
Yes, yeah, that was the old stuff. But yeah, thank you, Graham, and head over to cleaningpencil.com, and if you want something for Christmas, the stuff's not dear, and it is really.
If you can't afford a book from Greenlight Publishing,
yeah, or a detector,
or a detector, or a pinpointer, get over there. Or to Monarch, or to Box It, or any of them. Coin Pod.
Dave, could you? I want to just ask James something. Could you make my screen big? Looking at the picture, unless you've got that picture. Have you got that picture? Because there's a Deus 2 there. Is that just resting on there?
Yeah. It's because I was doing a bit of both at the same time.
So I was waiting for you to say I've developed the Deus Beast monster contraption.
Dragging detectors around.
Yeah. Has anyone got any questions for James regarding...
James, metal detecting wise,
mm-hmm.
You've obviously been going now 40 years plus.
Yeah,
What amazing finds have you had?
some pretty amazing things. Yeah. I mean, a lot of different things. I mean, lots of them are up there. Yeah, which is
Is this
my
your
office.
office or something to
It's
do
my
with
office. Yeah, it's my office.
your personal office?
Yeah. Well, it's
I want that
for three
office.
people, but it is also it's where I keep a lot of finds and things like that. The good lady doesn't necessarily want. She's not overly keen on me restocking the house with.
I bet you've got some fantastic
Yeah.
storage up there. Things in
Well,
storage as well.
I actually have another unit with other stuff in it as well because it's I'm not one for throwing away finds.
So one's got a skipper lead and one got a skipper.
Yeah, I do. I have my annual rubbish removal. You know, I keep those in the shed. And they can get pretty mountainous. Because I'm if I find cans or anything in the field, I remove it. I'm not one. I take everything out, bar the giant. If you find a massive piece of iron or something like that, you don't want to be carting that around with you all day. They're the only things I won't remove.
What's your favourite find?
Favorite find? Probably Viking Talk is probably my favorite find.
Yeah, found loads of those. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite finds. But I also some of the smaller hoards are amazing. But recently, well, in the last year, I think it was, I found an amazing Mary and King and Philip of Spain shilling in pristine condition.
Wow.
And that's one of my favorite coins I think I've ever found because it was such a it was the first time it was a portrait of both of them looking at each other. So Bloody Mary with King of Spain because they married, and they're both on there looking at each other, and and it's got as clear as can be, 1554 something.
Wow.
Yeah. James, sorry, you're James.
It's on my website. Yeah, you can see it on my website.
Well, you have to tell us what that is in a minute. Philip Wills, he's actually just asked, do you have any finds that are in an unbelievable condition for their age?
Flint. Flint tools are remarkably well preserved, as you know. But Flint tools are probably the most...
What's your website?
The oldest things. It's detecting-uk.com. Yeah, but it's not got a huge amount on it because I only did it a couple of years ago, and I haven't been able to put too much stuff on there yet. But there's some nice things on.
Have you got Instagram at all?
I do, but I'm terrible with that. My Facebook is probably bigger than mine. I have two. I have my own personal one, but I also have detectinguk.com for Facebook page and stuff like that. But I like to do reels and things like that for activities and stuff. But I have to admit, the website's gone a little bit. I mean, the nice bit about the website is it has got a lot of stuff relating to what the archaeology and surveying and whatnot. So it's not just, but there is a lot of finds thing there. Yeah.
It's a drone.
And it's sort of, I made it myself, so it's my own. Sort of built it, but it's got all sorts of bits and pieces in there. Dig gallery. This pictures come up. That was a nice thing. So that was something I scanned as an example.
Oh.
There it is. That's the one.
Yeah.
One of my more favorite type of. But yeah, lots of Civil War stuff, and there's John Charles.
Nice thimble. Great.
That's what I want. A thimble, silver
there's
thimble.
A nice little Gailey money. But yeah, this is a digital recreation.
And then up again. Now there it is.
Yeah.
Some detail on that.
You can stop it. Yeah, you can stop it.
I was happy it flobbering flew, actually.
Yeah, so those are just like some of the big ones, but then it breaks it down into coins and things like that. But I've never, you can sort of, that's a lovely thimble, that is.
Beautiful.
And I've over the years, different status and things like that. And and I actually, one of my favorite coins is probably that little guy there, because it's such a clear, it's so clear, and it's literally the size of your fingernail. It's absolutely tiny. So it's a tiny, tiny little coin. So that's scaly money. That's and then that was as it came out the ground, and then digitally scanned.
So that's the digital
so this
scan.
This is like your tool.
Yeah. So that's digitally scanning that, and then if you looked at the artifact itself, you couldn't really tell anything about it, and you've got to be really careful when you clean, because it's a copper alloy. But then,
so what was it, James?
It's funny enough that the finds people couldn't necessarily identify it. It's Roman, they believe, but it's a sort of, in my mind, I don't believe it to be Roman. So they thought maybe it was some kind of strap end, sort of part of a strap end, but obviously there's a bit broken off. The other bit that would be here would be on the other side.
The markings of it,
markings
are very your geophys as well.
Yeah, they look more sort of Celtic to me, more maybe more Iron Age than Roman.
That's lovely.
Yeah, and you notice I'm not one for cleaning things often. So I'm not. I won't go in there and clean those kind of coins other
Adrian,
than water.
When they done that portrait, do you think they were wearing pants?
No, I reckon they were in a bath of milk. Yeah, possibly.
Yes. It is a cracking coin, that particular one. Yeah,
that's really nice.
There's all sorts of scanning on there and things like that as well. So.
If I had loads of money and I said, "Oh, James, could you come and scan my permission?" Have you ever been asked for that?
Loads, and I do it. Most of the time, I do it for free. So
Don't say that. We could have set up a business there. I was just thinking.
No, I do
grand an acre.
As long as they cover things like travel costs. If it's going to cost me money to do it, then that's not good.
Adrian's new Roman fields.
Yeah. So often, really, it's just a case of when can I do it is more the challenge.
Yeah.
Timing.
We've had one of my permissions with my mate James has had 3 hordes off it. It's got lots on it, and it's just that bit deep, which brings me on to talking about depth.
Yeah.
The Deus Extreme, right?
Yeah, that's a good
great
example.
Machine. Yeah, great machine, but I don't really want to dig down 4 or 5 foot over a weekend. So it's
should you be? This is a good question. And should you be? According to the CMD, no, you shouldn't.
No. So it's a real tricky one, because you sort of like, you can see it, but you can't touch it. It's like going to a strip club.
I mean,
not that I've ever been.
Do you really want to spend? I mean, I think there is a place for the extreme hunter, and there's a good chance I might end up with one. But I would use it maybe before a commercial digger was about to go in there and do a trench, and to say, by the way, there's something in this area, right? There is. Just be a bit cautious. But yeah, the notion of, should you be really going and say, okay, yeah, there's something down in this location, and spend the rest of your weekend digging that one hole to find out it's an old farm
Mark IV
giant can of crap he's left there.
Yeah,
be heartbreaking doing that on a regular basis, because there's more often than not that's what it will be. As you know.
Well, my grandfather, he was a mechanic. He used to have he was one of the first people in Essex to have a petrol station, like I think it was like 1920 or something like that. Yeah. And he used to bury his cars in the back garden.
So it's remarkable what people. I mean, the company I worked for, I asked them what happened to that machine. They said we couldn't get rid of it, and it's so heavy we just buried it out the back. It's like, holy shit, that thing's about 4 tons.
Really?
Eagle Eye DJI, James says he wants to know what's really under that field next to the church at Charles's. Lots of patterns on Google Maps.
Yeah.
Is there a G shape and an O shape and another O shape?
Probably a D-shaped enclosure.
Yeah, it's
really feature.
It's a very old church with a round spire. It's Anglo-Saxon. It's very, very old church.
Early Saxon.
Yeah, but we know there's stuff in that field, but it's deep, and we can't go that deep.
What sort of region?
I'm in Essex.
Essex.
So
yeah, not a million miles.
No,
I travel to all sorts of sites. So, as long as I can sort of get there, a bit of preliminary, send me some pictures of the site, so I know roughly how bad the grass is. Because the one thing is, there's nothing worse than treading through 2 feet of grass doing these things.
Yeah, there is. It's got game cover at the moment on it, and grass and a bit of plough. But it's brought up a hell of all stuff on there, and we're very fortunate. Me and my mate.
Because what it potentially will do, it will isolate, what might be in the particular area that you might want to focus in on.
That's where I think the extreme is good for, if you want to do a little survey.
What an image gives you is just that remarkable. Okay, right there. Look at that around. There's a little corner there where and if you're obviously GPSing your finds, you can import that in to the same
and overlay it.
So you can look at the overlay because I do a lot of that. GIS is a remarkable tool. So that's basically the ability to import all these different sort of material, all this different material that you can gather through drone, through magnetometry, finds, and you can put it all in one map, and so you can sort of start to put a mosaic of really what's going on the site.
So you heard it here, everyone. You can hire James for only £1,000 an acre to do geophys on your permission.
But you have to come by me and Adrian to book him or request.
Yes. And James, you will stay in a 2.5-star hotel with free breakfast.
I'm more than happy to stay in. Yeah.
Yep. And Dave's old van.
New van.
New van. You got a new van. I think I don't think I'd sleep at night if I saw a map. But then it's frustrating, isn't it? It's like being told what you're getting for Christmas, sort of 10 years behind, because you want to get down deep, but you can't.
Yeah, well, that's the challenge with the trade-off for how deep do you really want to go, and should you be going that deep? There's you always got to think about when you get below that plough soil layer, which can be 16, 15 inches, 20 inches down. Your detector's obviously not going to see that stuff.
No.
And if you are starting to dig into archaeology, you've got to be a bit cautious. You shouldn't be.
Yeah. No, definitely not. And I don't like digging deep anyway. So
I mean, it's absolutely it's killer to do it. Your body absolutely screams at you when you get down there, and then you find a horseshoe or whatever it is, and you're like, God, I won't do that again. Do that for another week.
No, that's why we take Nurofen. That's what I do when I get home. I'm only 30, but I still struggle.
Me too.
Yes. Has anyone got any other questions for James regarding geophys, detecting, or his drone, or his scanning? I've been very interesting tonight, James. Really has. Really has.
Well,
I had this conversation in the teapot with him.
Yeah, well, I was on another planet, literally, in the teapot.
You had a conversation about boats.
Yeah, I was talking about boats, actually, with Dan Spencer from Researcher.
Nick West said it's great for battlefield archaeology, I can imagine so.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh my lord! Imagine that. You'd really pick up stuff.
Oh,
And
you-
I'm sure Nick will give some context to that statement next week as well when he's on the show. Very much looking forward to that show. Adrian's gone to drop the log again.
No, this is what we're drinking, which Nick West has sent me and Dave. 15-year-old Calvados, which we're meant to be testing on the show live on air next week. So if you fancy a bit of fun, watch that. And Nick will be talking to us about his new museum and
Get some
many
Kansas
other.
Stella for later as well.
I might, a Merlot Calvados chaser. How deep can you scan? James, from Stephen.
Well, I mean, obviously, it depends on the physical size of the object, of the anomaly. It will see, I mean, it's right at its limit, probably at about 2 meters down. But it's more happy at about 1 meter, 1.5 meters, if the features there. Yeah, but up to it will get, if the feature is significant enough at 2 meters, it'll sort of pick it up. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Which is remarkable if you think about it. If you think it's not actually, it's just a passive system. So it's not actually, it's not like pumping anything into the ground to achieve that. It's just looking at what that response through the ground is. It's geomagnetism. And if you think, well, just a guy who's dug a pit and he's dug a trench or an enclosure or something, and that's all he did, and then it's just filled in. It's remarkable that 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000 years later, it's still
Andrew
there.
Reese asks, have you done any of the sites on Orkney?
No, I personally haven't. My professor has. In fact, he's one of the lead archaeologists there. Yeah. So he was one of the main guys who did lots of the main digs up there, and not recently, but some of the previous ones. So yeah, they've done a lot of geophysics up there, though. Yeah,
Philip Wells said, "Did you have the contract for the Dolgelly gold belt?" I can pronounce it.
Yeah,
is that wrestling? Is that wrestling?
It's mid Wales, Barmouth area.
I thought it's like wrestling or WWF.
Dolgelly gold is very. Dolgelly, if I remember correctly, Alex Savage was involved in the Dolgelly gold. It wasn't doing the scanning; he was actually doing some archaeological excavations in the mines.
Yeah.
Nikki Foster in the chat.
Foster is lower in the town.
No, she's not. She's actually said something. She's told us dollar.
No, before that, she said, "How deep can you penetrate?"
Sorry. Six. Was it 6 feet? Did you
6
say
inches.
no? 2. Was it 2? No, 3 meters, wasn't it?
So 2 meters.
2 meters.
2 meters.
God, right. You must have a massive shaft to penetrate that deep.
Absolutely.
James, what's the what width, girth? I mean width. Did you scan at any one point?
Well, she said it was this big, and I said it was this. But no, it's it's again 2 meters. No, it's 2 meters, up to 2 meters wide. So I can capture 2 meters, and if you were really energetic, you can just run with it. So it has its own odiometer. As you move, it's basically timing all the data collection.
Is the system affected like metal detectors are by overhead pylons and such like?
Not so much. It will be. We talked about that a bit earlier, but no is the answer. Not really.
What was that for, Adrian?
Well, I asked that question.
Did you?
You did.
Are you ill or something?
How dare you?
He's sitting there with pneumonia.
It's remarkable that Dave's actually here this week.
It is. This time last week, bless him, he was like probably on 6 drips, 4 ventilators.
I was on 8 drips a day this time last week.
Oh my lord! And that was antibiotics.
I did see that you enjoyed the NHS food.
The NHS food was absolutely delightful, so much so I tried to recreate it when I got home. No, I never really. It was shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's awful, but I ended up in hospital 6 years ago, only for 2 nights, and I had the time of my life. The food was fantastic. I had curry, I had Chinese. I thought,
Brought
and
in
I
for
wasn't
you.
in. No, actually in the hospital. The only downside, I had my own room, and this is NHS, not private. I had my own room, and the only downside was the man in the ward opposite, sadly, had dementia, and he liked men. Yeah, he liked men, and he had a wooden leg. But he came in my room at 3 a.m. with his wooden leg on, with the foot the wrong way, and tried to get in my bed naked. He was naked, and I
When
was
he
like,
came in, did he open the door and go, "Arr"?
no, he was like spinning, walking in circles. But he had this wooden leg, and I can remember waking up, looking because they have the dim lights. Thought something's not right. He's naked, but even more, he's got funny legs. Like his feet were like wrong way. He tried getting in my bed, and
You
he's
sure
like,
this wasn't morphine induced?
Sounds like
no, I didn't have
hallucination to
morphine.
me.
So I pressed the buzzer, and luckily the nurse came. She said, "Come on, John, come on," and took him out. And then the next morning he tried it again. And I said, "Oh," and they said, "Just call us when he does it, bless him." But he was only about 40. It's really sad. But yeah, he kept putting his leg on the wrong way round. Shouldn't laugh.
Yeah. But yeah, so the other thing, I do a lot of
Oh.
fair, not only do I take requests, but I do a lot of community style digs. So, because I find that working with like community groups and stuff like that, one, they've got no money to pay for such things, but they also they do some of the more interesting things because they're doing research. They tends to be like research archaeology. So that it's not commercially driven, where virtually all the archaeological digs now are all development led. So in other words, they're all being paid for by the housing association or something like that.
Oh,
Chrissy, please remind James about what. Your James, our James, about what this James is talking about regarding next summer's or next May stroke June's big MOD event, because I think James, it is James. Mine's gone blank. James would be very interested to learn more about the site, perhaps.
Yeah, is that down on sort of Salisbury way? Is it?
No.
Okay.
No, not Ministry of Defence. Ministry Detect.
Oh,
yeah, they look like Ministry.
I thought you were talking about that because there's a big archaeological MOD group, isn't there?
Yeah. No, he's not a squaddy. He's a.
Yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah. Ministry of Defence.
Well, listen, it's 9:30, Adrian.
Time flies by when you're having fun. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm sorry we haven't asked that many questions in the chat tonight, but I think, James, it's been fascinating talking to you. And when we were chatting at Detector, I can remember, Dave, we had to go away and do awards or something, or I had to do tombola or something. And we were really getting into a conversation, and sadly it was broken up. I think it was the tombola, actually.
It was either that or RCM.
Yeah, I think it was RCM. Oh, that bloke Gary Cook. Oh, well, that's not far beyond. That's only 3 months away. Tickets for that.
Wow.
What the hell it is?
Yeah, flipping it. Anyway,
well, I've thoroughly enjoyed myself tonight.
I was thinking about actually the RCM and thinking about taking the magnetometer down on the RCM just to sort of show people the stuff and just give them a bit of an insight into it. But
and tell everybody what fields are going.
Yeah,
or do one of the fields and sort of see.
Do a field, don't tell everybody, and then if it's all right, go back there the next day yourself.
Maybe, James, you should do it. Tell Gary as part of the risk assessment. He should do it like a week before, and you should go down there with me and Dave, and we'll check it over for any unexploded bombs and stuff or graves. Yeah.
Look for the UXOs.
Yeah. Like that a lot. Right. Next week, as we've said, we have Nick West, who's coming on from the military. I forgot what it's called. Is it Military Heritage Museum or one beginning with the state?
he wrote us a lovely letter.
He did.
But if you want to find out about some amazing artifacts and military history and what Nick's doing, I think they should just watch the show because
Absolutely.
Nick's
And if not, go on. Have a, first and foremost, go and join the Metal Detecting War Relics Facebook group, and then all the information about the museum, which you'll find out all about next week down in Gosport. Absolutely fascinating what you're going to learn. So, James, it's been an absolute.
Sorry, just quickly, if you're in Eastbourne on Saturday, come and say hello to me, because if you just look there and smile at me, I get really scared because you know who I am. I don't know who you are, and it gets me in trouble with the police a lot of the time. So if you do go to Ty Fine's dig on the beach at Eastbourne, come up and say hello, shake my hand.
And also, if you do go, poke Adrian and say, right, Adrian, you have to do videos, because I know he won't.
I will. Are
you promising? Are you publicly promising?
I've got some new VHSC tapes.
Are you publicly promising?
I promise. I promise I will film.
There's 2 viewers who've just heard you say that.
1.
James, thank you again. It's been an absolute pleasure. And obviously, we'd love to have you back on in the future to talk about, obviously, any of your other future projects or metal detecting, anything.
Yeah, no, it's been really good.
Thanks, James. Brilliant.
So thank you to all watching, and I forgot what video I'm supposed to play now. Oh, let's play that one, seeing it's been the show tonight. Thank you all. It's been an absolute pleasure. See you all next week.